Dragon Ball Super is a clusterfuck, be it tensionless, having fantasy stories arcs, regressing characters, adding recolor transformation or stating the obvious but not explaining necessary stuff. But most of the hardcore fans kept watching with the optimistic thought of it getting better, and by hardcore fans I mean blind fanboys and YouTubers who are looking at their paycheck. They would be oblivious when iconic scenes get copied from the classic trilogy or defend the countless bullshit of obsolete characters becoming stronger off-screen through being prodigies or secret training. But why is Super so tensionless, and how was it obvious it would suck despite having Toriyama on board? The answer: the Battle of Gods movie. Battle of Gods single-handedly set up Super's demise. You could technically argue that Dragon Ball Evolution would be at fault, since without it, we wouldn't have gotten Battle of God. But how did a single movie manage to do all this? Let us start with the premise. Battle of Gods is about a god of destruction named Bills who happened to sleep during the entire story of the manga and came to Earth to fight a Super Saiyan god. The first problem is how convenient all of this is. You have a being more powerful than Buu, despite the series establishing Frieza and Buu are feared by the Kaio's, who are the highest ranked gods until Super retconned the god hierarchy. Not only that, but he heard of a prophecy regarding a Super Saiyan god from a fish before going to sleep, which is basically a bullshit excuse for him to come to Earth to fight Goku and the gang. He also dreamed of it. The second problem is that the SSJG is a prophecy, which in itself is a plot hole. How can there be a prophecy in a universe with multiple timelines? If you look at the time Battle of Gods takes place, you would notice that Bills didn't appear in the timeline of future Trunks, nor can he awaken to fight a SSJG, since the requirement cannot be fulfilled because Trunks is the only living Saiyan in his timeline. I won't even get into the Blue Trunks arc, which makes the series and manga version of this movie more out of place than it needs to be. Not to mention, Bills ordered Frieza to eliminate all Saiyan before going to bed, which completely contradicts the fact he was looking forward to fight the SSJG. Besides the premise, you got a movie that is unnecessarily dragged out, yet explains so little. This movie supposed to bring Dragon Ball back to mainstream, yet it wastes too much time for humiliating the main cast by doing dry-ass jokes. How am I going to believe Vegeta fears Bills so much that he decides to dance like a clown for no reason? There was no organic lead up to that dancing scene, nor to his fear of the god. Oregon, do you really believe seeing his father, who was weaker than Vegeta as a kid, being humiliated is enough for Vegeta to get shivers? Speaking out of character, the worst offender was Goku. He acted like a spoiled and immature child who can't even greet properly and has a fighting fetish. The real Goku would either ask normally for a battle or attack to see how the person claimed to be strong would react. Goku may be dumb, but he isn't that retarded nor bothersome to the point you want him to shut up. Speaking of battle, when Goku got the chance to fight Bills the first time, he turned SSJ3 immediately and asked if he should use an inferior form in a very dickish matter. That is also completely out of character, since Goku would never underestimate his opponent. He may hold back some of his strength to get an idea, but he would never look down by showing his full power like he did in Battle of Gods. When it came to his rematch, Goku, despite knowing the Earth being at stake, decided to give up. Goku would never give up in a situation like that, and it feels more like the movie further decrides Bills' character, who humiliated the Z fighters and turned Vegeta into a clown. Besides that, you also got other nonsense like Vegeta getting a rage boost, a trait that is unique to Gohan, which allowed him to surpass a SSJ3 Goku and Mystic Gohan. You have the Pilaf gang, who are turned into kids for some reason to further waste the runtime, and Gotenks not even bothering to go SSJ3. It is an insanely boring movie with dry-ass jokes, boring fights, and nothing relevant gets explained. We already had a downtime time special called Yo Son Goku 6 years before that. If you take out all the filler in that movie, you wouldn't get a movie, you would get another 8-minute special. But I haven't even addressed the worst thing yet. So far, we established Bills, despite his immense power, not being a real threat for the viewer since he could be bribed with food non-stop. Characters are out of character and the movie takes place in a time span before Goku meets up with Oob, hence the ending of Z being fixed. How can it get worse? The answer, Super Saiyan God. It's supposed to be the reason for Dragon Ball to finally continue. However, it is already a big plot hole like I mentioned earlier. Its entire existence is slowly destroying Super before it even started, not to mention, it retconned a lot of our heroes' establishments. Let us start with the name, Super Saiyan God. What does it mean to be a Super Saiyan God? The God of Super Saiyan, as Toriyama confirmed recently, the first SSJ was actually a SSJG, which is basically a contradiction, because you can't be a god of something that doesn't exist yet, nor does it look like a SSJ. It is basically a recolor of Goku's base form. So why isn't it called Saiyan Red, Saiyan God or something? Why does it have God in its name anyway? Is it because it uses God Ki? This brings me to my second point, God Ki. The movie, manga and series have yet to explain how God Ki affects the user and why its introduction was necessary. Back in Dragon Ball, Goku surpassed God before he was retconned to be a Namekian. Goku also surpassed countless other gods, most notably the highest ranked gods in the gods of the worlds, the Kaios. Goku fought and defeated Frieza, a being feared by gods. By turning Goku into a god, you are regressing and cheapening his accomplishments further. If he were to surpass gods now, there would be no satisfaction in that since he relied on god powers and, as seen in Super, characters were introduced that can get above Super Saiyan God tier by off-screen training like Frieza and it being plot device to jump in power again. Sure, we already have had plot devices that allowed Goku to jump massively in power with Super Saiyan and the holy water. However, the holy water was poison which Goku survived to get access to his hidden powers, while the Super Saiyan form was teased in the Namek saga with Goku finally snapping. When Goku turned SSJ, he learned that there are times he needs to get his hands dirty. He absolutely humiliated Frieza, and while Goku did humiliate a lot of his opponents in the past, it was never done in such a sadistic way. However, SSJG had no struggles to obtain. It was handed to Goku just like that, through a stupid ritual, which brings up another problem. The third problem, the SSJG ritual. Through this ritual, Goku casually got a new form by every Saiyan and Videl, because a fetus can somehow share power, I guess, holding hands and focusing on Goku, similar to how Baby received all the Saiya power to turn into his mutated SSJ2 form. Since it is so easy to obtain SSJG, Goku was not satisfied at all using it, but he did because he had to. The movie also revealed that you can basically use the ritual again, as Vegeta commented to have the ritual performed on him next time. Keep in mind, Super did fix Vegeta's character in this regard on trying to earn SSJG by himself, which he didn't, but this still brought up a big flaw with Super which kept taking the tension from the series. They didn't perform the ritual on any other character in case of emergency, even if we take into account that Pan wouldn't like to take part for the ritual. Future Trunks came back in the Blue Trunks arc. With him, we already got 6 Saiyans which could have done the ritual for each other. For one, it would excuse some of the bullshit like Trunks rivaling Pink Super Saiyan Evil Goku, and I may be able to take the Tournament of Power arc more serious. But I guess having a team of 3 SSJG plus tier characters, or logically 5 since Goten and Trunks should have been in the tournament, would make Jiren look like a joke, despite the writers being able to add more god tier characters, which in exchange would further cheapen SSJG as a form, though it already became obsolete with the introduction of SSJG, SSJ, SSJG, SSJ Kaioken and Ultra. It stinks, even if they forgot it in the Blue Trunks arc. In Tournament of Power there were moments they had to cooperate with Universe 6 Saiyan, and if you count them all, the sum would be 6. Yes, I don't like the idea of handing Caulifla and Broly another freebie either, but in order to secure victory against Jiren, the Saiyans could have done the ritual on Gohan, Caulifla, Broly and Kappa. Later, since they are on similar levels, they could still finish each other off if necessary. Fourth problem, how does the form work? During the fight with Bills, Goku's SSJG form ran out and somehow he still kept up with the god. That is because Goku absorbed the energy of the form into his base form and taps into it per SSJ form. Technically and according to Toriyama, Goku would no longer need to go SSJG anymore since Goku absorbed its powers. But why does he go into it in the manga and cartoon? Why doesn't he go further and turn SSJ3 in the movie? Was confirmed that Bills wasn't even using 70% of his power against him, but with an additional 4 times multiplier, he should have been able to overpower the god. It gets worse when you watch Resurrection F and Super, since you get another form beyond which implied to be SSJ with God Key but retconned to a standalone form beyond SSJG. It not only cheapens the form and contradicts Toriyama's line that Goku may not transform into SSJ2 or 3 anymore, nor would he get new form when he was asked about a potential SSJ5 in the future. It also brings up countless questions like, does Goku get stronger turning SSJG? And if he does, can Goku keep absorbing the SSJG key into his base form after each transformation? No matter if you are in favor to the answer yes or no, it either makes no sense or makes training sessions a waste of time since Goku can overpower any enemy unless they possess similar properties. Fifth problem, design. Super Saiyan God was the beginning of countless recolors like SSJG, SSJ, Golden Frieza and SSJ Pink. The main problem goes back to one I mentioned earlier. What does SSJG have to do with SSJ forms? Normally, when a new SSJ form is introduced, you get an improved version of the previous ones. The SSJ forms up to 3 and the grades all have golden hair, while SSJ2 may look very similar to SSJ, it is still an improvement from the previous one with more spiky hair and lightning round. SSJ3 is an improved version of SSJ2 with the hair growing, while SSJ4 doesn't have the golden hair nor the lightning round. It is a form obtained by mastering the Uzaru and SSJ forms and combining them into a more suitable body to fight. Goku's hair takes the color of his original and has still the SSJ aura like all SSJ forms, not to mention, it has more hair than SSJ3. It also screams Saiyan form since it takes the traits of the primitive nature of the Saiyans and is also a reference to the main character Sun Wukong from Journey to the West, which Dragon Ball was based on. SSJG has none of that. It looks nothing Saiyan-like, nor is it an improved version of a Super Saiyan form. The closest thing to a Journey to the West reference is that Goku becomes a god. But again, it is also regressing Goku as a character further since he surpassed gods without having to use of god powers. The last point is power creep. I already addressed some of it indirectly by introducing SSJG and later SSJG SSJ. You are opening the power creep so much more, which would do one of two things: make non-Saiyans in particular more irrelevant and absolutely not able to keep up, besides Piccolo, who would likely need to fuse with all Namekians. The non-Saiyans would keep up regardless despite making no logical sense, while Gohan is a Saiyan. I want to take him as an example on how he was able to get massively stronger by training with Piccolo, instead of performing the god ritual or training with Whis. Non-Saiyan examples are Android 17 and the already mentioned Frieza. I hope you enjoyed this video and get why I dislike for Battle of Gods and how Super was heavily crippled by its existence. Super's problems may not all be related to Battle of Gods, but the countless problems in that movie had to be carried in some shape or form to the point they had to contradict themselves, which in turn create more problems. It is an endless circle. I may never understand why people believe this is a good movie, even if you like the character of Bills. I can't see people not getting turned off by the fact everybody decried him in the movie, but maybe that is for the better. Regardless, have a nice day.